Hi, Dawn Lewis here. It's day 3 of this 7-part series featuring the beautiful Painted Rose stamp and die sets by Concord and Ninth, which you can find in Australia at dawnlewis.com.au. Today I'm going to colour with Zig Clean Colour Real Brush Markers. I'm going to use some yellows through oranges and reds, a few greens as well. You can buy these individually, you can get them as a set. I bought mine individually quite a long time ago. And here's what I like about them. I'm working on watercolour paper, and I don't have to blend, I don't have to be careful. I'm just running this around the edge of the petals. You know those kind of peach or pink roses that have the yellow on the edge of the petal? That's the effect I'm going for here. So I'm going to move up to an orange, a lightish orange. It's called bright yellow. All the colours and words, names are on the side of the screen there on the left. And I'm just going around. You can see I'm not blending, I'm just laying some colour down. I chose a red to put down in those darker shadow areas. I thought I'd better do that before I sort of filled it all up with middle of the range colours and have a little bit of depth in there. And then I'm coming in with orange. Now I could probably have skipped the red, to be honest, but I did go for the orange and that's worked really well. Look at the mess. Look at the mess I made. This is how great watercolours can be. You can make a mess. I'm using a lime, a bright and a darker green, and now I'm going to use an Aqua brush to really make it come to life. So you can see here, each time I pull the brush off to the side of the screen, I'm actually wiping it off on a piece of paper towel. And soon enough, I learned that this was not a good thing. It's been a while since I used the Zig markers, and I found that by wiping it off, blotting it on paper towel, it was actually sucking all of the moisture out of the brush, out of the Aqua brush things, and I had to keep squeezing water down into it. So I decided to stop doing that and I started wiping the colour off on the outside of the paper because this is going to be fussy cut later on. Then I realised I was wasting so much time and ink and paint kind of doing that because I was muddying up all my pale colours by starting in the darker. So you can see here I've gone all the way around the yellow and I'm only blending the lighter colours. Then I'll go through and pull the darker colours from the centre out into the damp yellow, and it's a much easier way to blend. So wiping off on your paper, starting from your lights, moving through to your darks, very, very good method. I've cut it out using the rose die, the coordinating painted rose die, and I'm really happy with the results. See how you don't need to be a genius painter or colorist. So I'm also going to cut from this painted rose die a piece of black cardstock. And you can see when I put them together, they are exactly the same size. So how is this going to work? Haha! Just by moving the top level, the painted rose, the literally painted rose, up and across, I create a drop shadow. Now I use Photoshop a lot and I love drop shadows. It gives a sense of depth and drama and some 3D. By just offsetting this a little bit, you can get this fantastic effect. Now, all of the black cardstock that's kind of hidden underneath the rose in the top there, you could totally reuse that for something else. I made a couple of these cards, and in the other one, I cut this out of that section. So I've used the sentiment that comes with the die set. I love this. It's so fine. I'm using Tombow mono adhesive, and a little known fact about Tombow mono adhesive is it's a 2-use glue. If you let it dry, it stays tacky and it works as a temporary adhesive. Did you know that? It's why I love the Tombow mono adhesive so much, and I'm very excited I'm going to be adding it to the shop very soon because I use it all the time, so it makes sense that I should have a really good supply of it. I also felt that it was being very fine, kind of disappearing a bit on this busy rose. So I've taken some Glossy Accents and I'm just very lightly going over the sentiment and using a pin to clean it up. It's kind of gotten into the center of some of those smaller letters like the O. I did lose a dot from one of the eyes on thinking, but trust me, I found it. I've replaced it. It's all good. I'm using Nuvo Crystal drops in the Morning Dew color, which is clear, no color, to create droplets on the rose. Oh, it looks so pretty. Wait till you see it. I've also made a frame using my cutting mat, ruler and blade. I will show you exactly how I did that in a future video, but I've used the lines on the mat to create this 1/2 centimeter frame. I'm going to keep that center. I've got a use for it. So it's just really fine. Now, of course, I could have put down a piece of black cardstock and then put something else on top, but it's building bulk and it's making it way more. It takes up more space. So what I'm going to do is pop this frame down on my card base, and the reason I checked it was goes right way up is mostly I want to line it up with the folded edge of the card base, then across the bottom up the other side. And because there's a slight discrepancy, that card base is a little bit longer, like a 0.5 millimeter longer than the frame, I'm just going to chop it off with my tonic trimmer. I love this trimmer so much. And now I've got this great subtle background paper from a paper pad, and I'm going to use the insert I cut out as a guide to cut out my pattern paper. So this is like the biggest die cut inlay ever. It's going to work really, really well. And keep down the bulk, and all that black cardstock, I will use it on the next card I make. I did make a second card in this project, and you'll see it at the end of the video. You can also see close-up pictures of it with the materials list over on the blog. The other thing you'll find on the blog are some of my hot tips on how to get the most value from your stamp set. So there's a new tip every day, and I'm trying to use at least 2 techniques every day. So we're nearly at the end. I've got my beautiful pattern paper, I've got my Hero Rose with its glossy finish and its sparkly dewdrops, and this card is done. It was simple, it was easy, it's classy, and you can make it in any colors that you like. This one is peach and yellow, but this one is blue and purple. I know, blue and purple, vibrant, right? You can find all of the details over on the blog. I'll pop a link below. I do hope that you are enjoying this video series. I hope that you have a very crafty day, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye for now.